The amount of Latinos that I'm seeing in ICE uniforms is fucking appalling. My mom's side of the family is Peruvian, right? And proud of it. But I have some immigrant MAGA on my mom's side. My dad's side of the family is majority MAGA, and they're Mexican, and they want to be white so bad. So I know a thing or two about self-hating, wannabe white Latinos. And that is the demographic that I am seeing in these uniforms in LA doing these raids right now. I was expecting to see white people in uniforms. What the fuck is going on? Like, I truly cannot wrap my head around the fact that y'all are doing this to your own people? What? Did you guys just like collectively forget where you came from, who you came from? Your ancestry, your bloodline, and where they came from? You have to remember that this administration doesn't want your ass here either. They don't want you here. No matter how hard you try, you won't be white, and they will not accept you. You don't have that pure Aryan blood, brother.
And we should continue to work hard because racism doesn't exist, right? We live in a post-racial society, right? And so that's what I think. I think that that's good advice. All of the advice that we ever got told, that racism doesn't exist, that we should just work harder, pull ourselves up from our bootstrap, but that's what we're doing.
Fuck ICE, fuck Trump supporters. If you're a Trump supporter, unfollow me right now. I don't give a fuck, bro. If you're not keeping up with the news, there's ICE raids going on. They've been going on since last week in LA. San Francisco, like 2 days ago, people went to go do check-ins with immigration, and ICE went there to go detain them, and 4 of them were children. So I don't know why these Trump supporters are always like, oh, they just need to do it the right way. And the fucking Latino for Trumps, that was their favorite fucking thing to say. They just gotta do it the right way. They gotta do it. We did it the right way. Bitch, they're trying to do it the fucking right way.
You're a Mexican American.
No. My parents are Mexican. I'm American. I think they're from this place called the Jalisco.
Jalisco, bro.
I don't know, bro. I'm not from over there. On our way to go arrest this one guy. It's just really hard to find him because he has 3 jobs. So I don't know what job to go to.
3 jobs? Sounds like a hardworking guy.
No. Sounds like a guy who's taking 3 American jobs away, bro.
Or a guy trying to support his family.
Bro, are you on my side? Yeah, I was basically doing an imitation of like, oh, the Latino ICE agents be like, like how they're like all embarrassed of being Latino.
Brother, a Karen just called the ICE on my partner. They took my partner. He's a citizen. I'm the immigrant. I'm glad they're ignorant. They're like, you black American, go over there. You immigrant, but he's the real citizen though. Brother, tell him about how they took Alberto.
Yeah.
And they left me. That's great.
Yeah, this is brand new, motherfucker. I'm sure your mama starved in the past. That's why she came here, like all these other people have, to look for a better life. I can see the fucking shame in your fucked up face, puto. I see the shame in you. Go tell your mama how you proud of rallying people and taking them in. What crime did they make? What crime did they commit? Nothing. I'm sure you're proud, bitch. Oh, you don't arresting defenseless people. Look at you, you're darker than I am, motherfucker. Mira, you're darker than me. But I'm sure you're proud. You're supposed to be here either. You should be in the van. Or claro, puto, because you didn't have the balls to stand up for your people. You should be in the van.
So this is a message for Hispanic people or Latina people, not just the white presenting Latinos, all of them, including the more Afro Latinos, when it comes to this whole deportation thing and solidarity with the Black community. You guys have no right to be angry at Black people who choose not to want to support or have solidarity with you. And the only reason why I say this is because the amount and level of disrespect that we Black Americans have suffered from the Hispanic community when we tried to have solidarity in the past is astronomical, and you guys know about that disrespect. Because try being a Latina woman with your whole family and bring home a black man as your boyfriend and tell them that you want to marry him. And how would your family respond to that? Because I know a lot of you, if you brought home a black person, like a black American, your family is not having that. So how could we possibly have solidarity when the whole family is like, you bring home a black person and it's just like their head starts spinning and they have an issue with that? On top of that, and also what adds insult to injury is basically saying when Hispanic people deny racism, like the fact that they're racist and the fact that they're colorist. The first time that it hit me about the Hispanic racism back in your own countries is when Black Panther, the second Black Panther came out, and the guy who played Namor, I forgot his name, the guy who played Namor talked about how you guys treat darker skinned people and indigenous people in your own countries, and that mentality, you guys bring it here into this country, especially after we black people have went through a lot of strides in this country to get certain things put in place for civil rights. And instead of leaving that at the door in those countries, you guys bring those mindsets with you. And then on top of that, literally here on TikTok, there was a girl who had like 1 million views, and I still have the video and I can pull it, where she was talking about, she was only 20, and she was I could tell she was having a hard time articulating herself because she was crying and emotional. She was talking about how she experienced racism and discrimination from her Hispanic community, and she said she was an Afro-Latina, and how she couldn't get a job and couldn't get hired, and a lot of these jobs are expecting you to speak Spanish. And so when I came behind her and I pointed out, yes, there are some things in the Hispanic community, what she's saying is true, it's just like the responses that I was getting from Hispanic people is just like the gaslighting that I would get from white people who try to deny racism. It's basically they were trying to say, oh, well, she wasn't qualified for the job. She wasn't, the same shit white people say. So if you do not have, none of you guys have a right to be mad at any black person for not wanting to stand behind y'all in solidarity. Because from me, I used to work a job when I was younger in a restaurant, and the Hispanic dudes, a whole bunch of Hispanic dudes back there, and they was not American, and they would just say the craziest stuff, and I had to check them. And after I checked them, they ain't saying nothing to me after that. Even with my best friend, she worked at a restaurant, whole bunch of Hispanic dudes working in the back, calling her the hard ER and the B word, and she checked them, and they ain't say nothing to her after that. They ain't say nothing to her after that. So a lot of us black Americans have very negative experience with you Hispanic people, who you guys are very racist. You have disrespected us. And so, yeah, we're aware of the disrespect. And I understand maybe on an individual level where if it's a Hispanic, a Hispanic person that I know on an individual level, that's something completely different. But as a collective level, Hispanic people have not broken down their own racism and white supremacy and disrespect. And they fail to realize that in this system, in the United States of America, you guys, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, I don't care how pale your skin is. If you're a Hispanic person, you're closer to a black person than you are to a white person on this hierarchy. And Asian people are actually higher up on the hierarchy than you guys are. So if black people don't want to be in solidarity and don't want to help, I don't feel like we should not be shamed for it. And you guys have no right to misdirect your anger towards us. If a black woman says, I'm not protecting these kids, if ICE comes, whatever, or if a black person says, I'm calling ICE, or if a black person says, oh, well, I'm not going to support, I'm just going to sit back and rest and this, that, and that. Y'all have no right to be angry with us. No right to be angry with us, especially after all the disrespect that not only we take from you guys, but other immigrant groups do it to us too, especially the Asians. And to add insult to injury, for me to find out that Asian people, and I don't know how true this is with the Hispanic people, but I heard that Hispanic people wanted to be classified closer to white than they did back in the day instead of being in.
So this is what I think about these videos, and here's my 2 cents. One, I think it's a very sensitive issue because you have people who are coming to the United States who are seeking a better life. And I think that if you have any sense of humanity, you can empathize with that. However, it's another group of people that's in the United States that also are seeking a better life. We live in a country with limited resources, okay? As an American, how I view it is, can I go to Mexico Or can I go to Colombia or another Latin American country? Or even a country in the Middle East or Russia, anywhere, Europe. Can I go to this place and say, hey, I'm here, and since I'm here, I should be given right? No, realistically. However, it gets tough because that's basically the narrative that's pushed, is that, hey, I'm seeking a better life so that I should be able to get A, B, C, and D. The problem that a lot of Black Americans view on this is this. Black Americans have been fighting for rights since the beginning of this country, and our rights has always been a fight. It has always been a fight for us to get our rights. With other groups face discrimination, we can acknowledge that discrimination is there, but many of us look at it and think, where were you guys when we were saying this? We've been telling you the same things that you guys are complaining about. And now that you're experiencing it, a lot of people want our help. They want our numbers. And it's tough because it's like, no, we can't do that, because one, is out of our jurisdiction, and two, every time we've ever voiced our complaints about how we're treated in this country, we get told to work harder. We get told to pull ourselves up from our bootstrap. We get told that racism doesn't exist. We get told that we should focus on ourselves and stop complaining about racism. So for the people that tell us that, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to focus on ourselves. We sympathize and empathize with you all. It's very disheartening what's happening, but we should just pull ourselves up from our bootstrap, and we should continue to work hard because racism doesn't exist, right? We live in a post-racial society, right? And so that's what I think. I think that that's good advice. All of the advice that we ever got told, that racism doesn't exist, that we should just work harder, pull ourselves up from our bootstrap, but that's what we're doing. That's exactly what we're going to do. All 43 million of us, we're just going to work hard. We're not going to get involved in other people's struggles, because usually what happens is we fight for everyone. But then when the benefit comes, everyone gets the benefit, but we are still placed on the bottom of the caste system. So we're rejecting it. We don't want the caste system to exist at all. We reject the caste system. But it seems as though other groups are okay with the caste system as long as they're not on the bottom. And that's where we differ. When we fight, we're fighting to eradicate the entire injustice for everyone. When other people fight, they're fighting just so that they are not discriminated against. You see the difference? So our goals and what we want don't align up at the end of the day. It's very disheartening, and what's even sadder is that their own people voted for this. It wasn't that my people voted for this or a lot. It was something that they voted for. I remember being out west, I don't drive trucks anymore, but when I was driving trucks, I used to see these Latinos for Trump, 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 Trump. And it's so ironic that the same people that voted for this guy, they are now being faced with ICE, deportation, and a lot of their family members are not here with the right paperwork. So it's very sad. I wonder why your community did that to you guys. Like, why would you vote for that? But I understand. As is how they get all of us. We're not immune. Some people felt as though, hey, if I could get my job and secure what I want for myself, so be it. You know what I mean? Divide and conquer. So it's very sad what's happening. My prayers do go out to everyone that's out there. Please stay safe. I hate that it's like this, but what can we do, right? We gotta focus on ourselves.